we've seen Hollywood actors get absolutely unhinged over the last few years when it comes to political statements. Now, certainly a lot of people in Hollywood aren't probably going to have the politics that I have, but it's a little bit different when it's people out there that are currently attached to a project that seem to continue to want to alienate half of the people in the United States of America. And Mark Hamill absolutely falls into that category. He, for the past several years, really ever since Trump got in office, has been melting down consistently on social media. It's one thing to attack, a political person you don't like, but when you go after supporters of that person and you basically say, hey, if you believe this, if you support this guy, I don't want you to be a fucking Star Wars fan, that's a little bit different story. And that feels like the energy Mark Hamill has had recently. So when this story started coming out on Friday, I wanted to say, you know what? This is probably a real thing because Mark Hamill is just this big of a piece of shit. Mark Hamill to fans at Fan Expo Chicago, may the force be with you. Unless you're MAGA, then you can go force yourself. I thought, wow, Mark Hamill, a new low for him. In front of people that want him to talk about Star Wars, he's sitting there and basically saying to half the people in the country, go fuck yourself. I don't want you to be a fan. And we saw these stories, these tweets everywhere. May the force be with you, lest you're MAGA, then you can force yourself, from Agents of Fandom. We see it from One Take News. And you even started to see an article or two roll out. Then you can go force yourself. Mark Hamill expresses hatred for Donald Trump. But I was still questioning it because even though I had no doubt in my mind that Mark Hamill potentially could say this with the unhinged shit that he said in the past, I still thought I haven't seen any video. And if I haven't seen any video of it, it's just people tweeting. It could be a fake story. And as much as I despise Mark Hamill, maybe this is the reality. Maybe this is a story that got spun out of control. And, so I went and I looked at the end of the panel because some people said it was the end of the panel. I said, well, let's see what he says here.
And you always will be. So may the force be with you all. Good night. Thank you so much.
Well, I thought to myself, well, that's interesting. He said, may the force be with you. He didn't say all that other stuff. So maybe this is just a bullshit story. Was I actually going to have to go out there and defend Mark fucking Hamill? Well, then I decided I needed to do a little more research because a lot of people are still saying this. And this is the one that changed my mind from Andy IM. My daughter and her friends went to Fan Expo Chicago because her friend's mother is a fan. They listened to Mark Hamill speak. At the end of his speech, he said, may the force be with you. But if you're MAGA, go force yourself. What is wrong with this man? And that's the kind of thing, end of the speech. That didn't make sense. I decided to watch the entire fucking panel. And you know what? I shouldn't have even thought about defending Mark Hamill for a moment. I'm glad I verified it, but this is absolutely what he fucking said. Listen to this man.
I said that before, I say, may the force be with you. Unless you're MAGA, then you can go force yourself.
Now, is this surprising to me that in Chicago that, some people cheered when he said something like that? Not necessarily. But just imagine, with about half the country supportive of Donald Trump, you have fans that are in this room that want to hear Mark Hamill talk about Star Wars, maybe talk about Batman the Animated Series, maybe talk about this stuff. And you hear from this dude who goes and says all this bullshit on social media, whatever. But it says, may the force be with you. Unless you're MAGA, then go force yourself. This guy, to some people, is still a hero. I don't exactly know why that would still be for some people, but he absolutely is. For some people, he is. And this is what he decides to do. He even says, I wasn't supposed to get political here.
I like that phrase because it sounds dirty, but it's not. And hey, I don't wear blue. And I promise I wouldn't bring up politics. I won't tell you how to vote, but I do hope you're all voting.
I wasn't supposed to talk about politics, but I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I just, bashed an entire half of the country. Mark Hamill, this is such a perfect example, right? You have people like Mark Hamill that are still currently employed at Lucasfilm. He's doing a Lego Star Wars project that not only is he voice acting, he's also a producer or something of some sort. Yet Gina Carano gets fired for her political opinion. But Mark Hamill's allowed to go out there. And obviously, he's fucking joking around. And I agree, he's joking around. But this is a dude. These are your fans. They're there to talk about Star Wars. And you can't help but make it political and essentially let a lot of people in that let a lot of people in that room know that, if you vote for this guy, go fuck yourself. That's basically what Mark Hamill is saying. No room in the Star Wars fandom for you if you don't see my way politically. Just an absolute piece of shit. And I'm glad I did the digging because I thought I was going to have to defend this man. Thank God I do not. Mark Hamill, complete and total piece of shit.